My name is Steph, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking about healing from narcissistic abuse. My healing journey started about a year ago. That is when I woke up to the abuse and initiated a divorce. My divorce is not finalized yet, so I'm still kind of in it, but I just want to share my experience with you. Maybe it could help you on your own healing journey. I really didn't set out to talk on these topics. I'm actually a holistic health coach who created an experience to guide you to healing your gut and your overall health. But when I'm out in nature on my nature walks, I am just bombarded by thoughts of needing to talk about this topic. But there is a link between your gut health and the abuse you endured because the immense amount of stress that you experience during narcissistic abuse affects your gut health, and that ripples out to other areas of your physical and mental health as well. I want to start by saying that narcissism exists on a spectrum. At the low end, you have people who are pretty selfish, self centered, self serving, but they have a heart. And at the high end, you have full blown narcissistic personality disorder. These people lack the ability to love and to empathize with others. This is because they were born into an abusive environment at a very young age, and therefore the centers in their brain responsible for love and empathy did not fully develop. And there are two main manifestations of narcissistic personality disorder. You have the grandiose form, where, that's the obvious form of narcissism. People who are very arrogant, kind of domineering. You also have the covert form of the disorder. These people are often the most dangerous because they are so difficult to detect. They are going to play the victim. They are going to passively, aggressively, and very sneakily devalue you and make you doubt yourself and make you loathe yourself. You think of narcissism, you don't think of these people who play the victim and are poor me, poor me. You usually think about the grandiose form, which is why when I woke up to the abuse at the hand of a covert narcissist, I was in so much shock because I did not know that covert narcissism even existed. So I'm speaking from the lens of being married to a man who has covert narcissistic personality disorder. Before I met him, I wasn't the most confident person in the world, but I had a decent level of confidence, and belief in myself and love for myself and value for myself and worthiness. But by the end of the relationship, when I went to initiate the divorce, I was a mess. I couldn't look myself in the mirror. I was filled with self loathing and self hatred. I was so sad because I didn't understand how I became so down on myself. I couldn't understand why I felt so unlovable, so unworthy. If you are in this position, I want you to know that the narcissist projected these feelings onto you. This is how they feel about themselves, and they can't handle it, so they project it on to the people in their environment. So fostering awareness around the fact that you have been projected on, that you are lovable, you are worthy, and these are not your feelings to be internalizing. They are the narcissists. If you're in this deep dark stage of your journey, you have love for yourself in you, and you are worthy. And if you don't have anyone in your life around you right now that can make you feel loved, I want you to know that I love you and I know exactly what you're going through, and you're going to come out of this. So, my healing journey started, of course, with grief. And more often than not, you're going to be experiencing complex grief, meaning you are grieving multiple things at once. For me, this looked like I wasn't only grieving the end of the relationship, I was grieving a life I thought it was headed towards. I thought we were going to start a family. I thought we were going to be living on a farm. I thought I was going to eventually be starting a farm business. These were deep desires and dreams that I had had for a long time that my narcissistic ex used as a form of manipulation to control me, to string me along, to keep me in the relationship. So just waking up to the fact that everything he said was a lie, all of these things I thought I was headed towards were not going to happen. Um, my world just came crashing down. And it was a deep form of grief that I was feeling. Not to mention the internalized emotions of self loathing, shame, of not realizing that all of this was happening, these lies, feeling so stupid. And I really had to stop beating myself up and allow myself to grieve. I was injured. For me, grieving lasted about 3 months of pretty heavy grieving. I'm talking about random bouts of crying, spending many nights in a hot, salty bathtub, crying, processing. So I encourage you, if you're someone who usually likes to swallow your emotions, don't swallow this phase, because I'm learning the hard way. I'm someone who has swallowed my feelings and my emotions throughout most of my life. Now I'm going through a spiritual awakening, and 38, 39 years of emotions are coming up. And it's exhausting. And um, if you can deal with those emotions head on and heal them and release them, most importantly, at the time that you're feeling them, that is ideal. So you don't internalize them, carry them, let them affect your mental and physical health. They're going to come out sooner or later. So it's better to let them come out sooner. So during this grief process, other things that helped me were journaling, just getting it all out, getting out, trying to make sense of everything. It's almost like when you wake up to a covert narcissist, those crime shows where they have the wall with all of the pictures of the suspects and the victims and maps and the strings and the pins connecting everything. I just dove into that in my mind. I was just trying so hard to make sense of everything. Because when you wake up to all the lies, it's like a bomb goes off, and the shroud that was covering your eyes, you see so clearly, and you're just trying to piece everything together. Oh, well, when this happened, was that a lie? When this happened, was he acting? I really got consumed by these thoughts and just trying to figure everything out. So that led me to also just learning about the disorder, reading and researching books and articles online, learning as much as I could about the disorder. Another thing that helped me early on was making small changes to my environment. I threw my sheets away. I eventually threw my comforter away and got a new comforter. It was interesting, the emotional release, just spontaneous, that I had from throwing that comforter away, but also the sense of relief that it brought me. And over the past year, I've done a lot of cleansing and purifying in my environment, decluttering, getting rid of things that I don't need. Sometimes you look around and everything reminds you of your narcissistic ex. So just making small changes to the decorations and lighting in my living room, just freshening my environment up, making it feel newer, fresher, and just getting rid of the things that made me think of him. And also during this process, during grieving, I just practiced radical self care, letting myself rest. I'm a very energetically highly sensitive person, and a highly empathic person. So for me, that looked like isolating. I needed alone time to process and grieve and heal. If you're more of an extroverted person, That would probably look like connecting with old friends, getting out, doing something that you enjoy, being around people that uplift you. And during the process of inner exploration, learning about narcissism, I also woke up to my patterns. This was the third relationship in a row that I had been in a unhealthy, toxic dynamic with someone. I started to look at the commonalities between these relationships. You know, all of them presented to me with this pity party story, this feel bad for me, feel bad for me. All of them had some type of substance abuse issue, mainly alcohol. All of them drained me mentally and emotionally and physically. And that has a lot to do with being a highly sensitive and empathic person. Those types of people are just drawn to our light. They're drawn to our compassion. They're drawn to our empathy. They're drawn to our ability to love and forgive. So I learned that I needed to practice discernment. I also learned that my patterns of allowing these people in my life were rooted in my childhood experiences. When I was growing up, love was not just given out freely. You had to work for love. If I showed emotion, that was frowned upon. There was only one person in the house who was allowed to have emotion and express it loudly, and that was my father. So, getting to the root of my patterns and why I had them was eye opening to me, and another grief in itself. I'm still processing that. And that segues into learning to love yourself, practicing radical self love, self acceptance, self compassion. And that's the main lesson that comes from being in a relationship and enduring narcissistic abuse. You need to learn to love yourself. You need to learn boundaries. You need to learn discernment. You need to not just spread your love and energy everywhere. It should be guarded to some extent and is meant only for people who deserve your love and energy and care. And towards the end of my grieving, deep investigation process, I came upon acceptance. I had to accept who he really is. I had to accept what just happened to me. I had to accept that he's not going to change, that the way I was feeling was internalized projections that he projected onto me. And I had to accept that I was a victim of abuse, mental and emotional abuse. He always said, "Well, I'm not beating you. I'm not physically abusing you." And I said, mental and emotional abuse is abuse. Sometimes it's even worse than physical abuse alone. So my grieving process started in late January. And then by the time April came around, it was like, okay, Steph, time to pick yourself up. It's springtime, the sun's coming out, it's time to do some gardening. So to say my grieving was completely over at that point is not true. I really ruminated over my experience, plus all of the divorce things. But I started, you know, dreaming a new life. What do I want my new life to look like? What kind of people do I want in it? How do I want to see myself? How do I want to feel? Where do I want to be? What kind of environment do I want to live in? That really helped me pick myself up. I didn't need him to live the life I want to live. I don't need him to feel loved. I don't need him to pursue my dreams and achieve my dreams. I think when we're with narcissists, they are so good at convincing us that we need them to the point that we are not going to achieve our dreams or get to the place we want to be without them. And that's just a tactic that keeps us with them so they can continue to feed off of us. You are the creator of your life, and you can make it however you want it to be. Just opening up the mindset of a possibility, imagining all the possibilities helps you look forward to a brighter future and be grateful that you're not bringing the narcissist into it with you. And eventually, you hopefully will start to feel some level of gratitude for the experience that you've had with the narcissist and the abuse you endured, because it woke you up. It set off the bomb that brightened your world and your awareness. It showed you that you need to love yourself more, that your worthiness does not come from outside of you, that you are worthy inherently. It wakes you up to your patterns. For me, it sparked the deeper phases of a spiritual awakening that I am still in the midst of. And as difficult as this experience has been, exhausting, full of mental and emotional purging, I'm grateful to be going through this. And waking up just gave me my power back. I feel I have power over my life again. I'm on my own. I can do what the hell I want to do. And that's what I'm going to do. And on the topic of closure, most of the time, you're not going to get the closure that you think you want and need from the narcissist. I think for a lot of people, that looks like you want an apology. You want them to admit they did wrong. You want them to admit they hurt you. You're not going to get that from them, because to a narcissist, admitting wrong and feeling the shame that comes with that is like torture. They can't endure that. And I think a lot of the time also, they don't give you closure in that sense, the type of closure that you want, because they want to keep a tie to you. They want you to stay hooked some way. And that is their final hook. Not giving you the answers, not giving you an apology, not giving you any explanation. So, don't fall for this. Don't fall for this final hook. Your closure comes in accepting who they really are, what they've done to you. For me, closure is, thank God I got out of that. For me, closure is more coming from a place of, I'm so glad I'm not in that situation anymore. I don't know about you, but I went completely no contact with him last October, which was very beneficial for my nervous system because he was continuing to gaslight and reverse victim and offender on me. So just cutting all contact helped with my sense of closure as well. And if you are someone who has children with them and you have to co-parent with them, don't give them your energy. If they try to start something with you, don't fall for it. They're always trying to get a reaction out of you. They're trying to pick at you. Don't let them. Use the gray rock method. That's when you just don't respond. You don't give any emotional responses to them. And also with closure, divert all of your energy away from them and towards yourself. Your healing, your journey, your path to self-love, your path to worthiness, your new, bright, shiny, awesome, narcissist-free new life. And for me, my divorce is not finalized yet. So I'm in a lull period with the divorce process. So I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a break. But, I think a part of me still feels I'm not going to fully experience closure until the divorce is finalized and the final judgment is made. So be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself through this process. I can't emphasize enough the importance of letting your emotions out, not letting them get stuck in your body, not carrying them around. just practicing so much self love, self acceptance. Do not shame yourself. This is not your fault. Being gentle with yourself when it comes to commitments, if you don't feel up to them, don't force yourself. Listen to your body, listen to your soul. What do you need? Do you need isolation? Do you need to be around people? Maybe you don't know what you need. You could try being around people. You could try isolating, see how that goes for you. So I just want to close by saying I have so much love for you. I know exactly what you're going through. It's so difficult. Stay the course. This journey serves a purpose. And don't forget that. I will probably be filming some other episodes, maybe on this topic. But for now, I'm going to sign off. I love you all. Bye.